falling in love. It's one of the most powerful and, honestly, most confusing experiences we can have. It feels amazing, but it can also feel profoundly destabilizing. Have you ever felt that? Like you're completely obsessed, a little bit irrational, just not quite yourself when you're falling for someone? Well, you're not going crazy. It's an almost universal experience. But the real question is, why does it happen? You see, that intensity isn't just a feeling. It's a very real, very profound, and temporary alteration of your brain's chemistry. For a short time, your brain is literally being hijacked. It's operating under a completely different set of biological rules. What we call infatuation, or that passionate, can't eat, can't sleep kind of love, it isn't just poetry. It has a distinct biological signature. Psychologists see it as a specific and temporary neurochemical state. And honestly, understanding this is the first step to navigating it without getting completely lost.
So it all starts deep in your brain, in a little region called the ventral tegmental area, or VTA for short. When you become infatuated with someone, this area just lights up. This is the core of your brain's reward system, the same system that handles our most basic, powerful drives.
And once that VTA is activated, it floods your brain with the neurotransmitter dopamine. This is what creates that feeling of intense euphoria, that motivation, that craving. It's the same chemical system activated by things like addictive drugs. That dopamine rush is what feels so good and what drives you to seek out that person again and again.
But at the exact same time, something else is happening. Activity in your prefrontal cortex, that's the part of your brain responsible for rational thought, for judgment, it actually decreases. This is the biological reason for the rose-colored glasses effect. Your brain literally becomes less capable of spotting flaws or exercising criticism.
So let's just put this neurochemical cocktail together. You've got super high dopamine, which creates the euphoria. At the same time, your serotonin levels drop, which, interestingly, is also seen in people with OCD, and that helps explain those obsessive thoughts. You combine that with your judgment center taking a nap, and you have the perfect biological storm for obsession. Okay, so that's the science. But let's translate this into real life. How does this biological hijack actually show up day to day? What does it make you feel and do? Well, this brain state translates into some very predictable behaviors. The drop in serotonin, that leads to obsessive thinking. The quiet prefrontal cortex, that's why you suspend all criticism and doubt. And that dopamine rush, it fuels risk-taking and makes it almost impossible to focus on anything else. It's a really potent mix that can also, surprisingly, trigger a lot of anxiety and overprotective feelings.
I think this quote just captures that paradox perfectly. The euphoria is the chemical high, right? But that feeling of being endangered comes from the deep vulnerability of letting all your guards down. And the exhaustion? Well, that's just the price your brain pays for running in overdrive, trying to handle these two intense, opposite states at the same time.
And it's not just neurotransmitters. Your hormones get in on the act too. Research shows that in these early stages of love, women's testosterone levels actually go up, making them more sexually assertive. And men's levels? They actually decrease, which can make them more emotional and receptive. It's just another one of those biological twists that makes this phase so unique.
So we've seen what's happening in the brain, and we've talked about how it feels. But what's the hidden cost of this state? More importantly, what's the risk of not understanding what it really is?
The real danger here isn't the feeling itself. I mean, the feeling can be wonderful. The danger lies in misunderstanding the nature of the feeling.
And here is the hard truth. The central risk is this: making permanent, life-altering decisions while you are under the influence of a temporary biological storm. Because the brain state of infatuation, it isn't sustainable. It's not designed to be permanent.
You see, romantic love is actually designed to evolve. That initial, chaotic, dopamine-driven phase is temporary. If a relationship is going to last, it has to transition into a more stable, long-term attachment phase. This next stage is driven by different hormones, oxytocin and vasopressin, which promote calm and trust and a deep sense of connection. The core mistake we make is confusing the temporary storm for the long-term climate.
So what can you actually do about this? It's not about fighting the feeling. It's about seeing it clearly. First, just acknowledge it. Say to yourself, okay, the obsession I'm feeling, the way I'm idealizing this person, this is a biological process. This is the infatuation phase. And second, consciously slow down. When you feel that impulse to make a huge decision, just create a little space. Don't act on it right away.
Ultimately, this isn't about being cynical or trying to resist one of life's most beautiful experiences.
It's about being wise. The goal is not to build a wall against the feeling, but to build a foundation of understanding beneath it. That's how you can enjoy the intensity of the storm without getting swept away by it.